What's going on, everybody? Welcome back in. Today, we're going to be showcasing the Myrtle Beach Games 4-0 Boba Fett Green Deck made by Ryan, piloted by Matt in this tournament. And we're just going to be going over the deck list. We're going to be going over the sideboard, and then we're going to be going over the championship match with the Boba Fett Green deck going up against a Sabine Green deck. So obviously 2 of the top decks going head to head would be a good way to showcase the deck. And yeah, we're going to also be going over a giveaway later on in the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and hop right into the Boba Fett leader card. Obviously, as we know, when a card is removed from play, right? So if a card leaves play on your opponent's side, you get to ready up a resource. That's really good. You get to extend your play. It can be from defeating a unit, or you can remove it using waylay and stuff like that. So that's really good. And then also, when it becomes a leader unit, when this unit completes an attack, if an enemy unit left play this phase, ready up 2 resources. So it gets really crazy. When you have 5 resources on the board, you can play something, maybe a waylay, ready up a resource, bring this out, ready up the resource. So basically you get waylay out for free on that turn when you have 5 resources. And it gets kind of crazy with the stuff that you can do. And Boba Fett, there's a reason that it's probably the best leader in the game right now, because being able to ready up your resources and prolong your plays is just really, really strong. And you can really take advantage of that, especially with this deck list, because a lot of the things that you play are kind of low value in terms of resource costs. So it's just a really potent deck. It's really crazy. And then also, obviously, for the base, we're going to be playing the Energy Conversion Lab, probably the best base in the game. Being able to play something for 6 resources and get ambush on it is really good. And I'm going to go over a few cards that this base loves to play with. It's like crazy in this deck. So I'm going to be bringing up the deck list right now. We're not going to be going over every card in the deck list, but first off, let's go over what makes Energy Conversion Lab so good in this deck. You can go ahead and you can use Energy Conversion Lab with Super Laser Technician. You can get your ramp up, allowing you to get the Boba Fett quicker and, start using his ability quicker than your opponent. So that's really good. You can also use it on Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett, when he attacks a unit that already attacked or is suspended not on the turn it was played, it can deal the damage first and then deal its own damage. So if you have something with low cost that attack or low HP that attacked your base, you can go ahead, Energy Conversion Lab with this card, use its ability, clean it up, you still got your Boba Fett on the board, and then you can use your Boba Fett leader card to then ready up some resources. It's really good, and you get to hopefully keep your Boba Fett intact for future plays as well. And then Steadfast Battalion, if you have your leader out, it's really good because you can go ahead and give something +2/+2 for the phase as long as you have Boba Fett leader out on the board. But using ambush with that is really good because you can take something out, you have overwhelm, so you can do damage to the base, and then you can go ahead and give something else +2/+2 for the phase, and you can deal even more damage that way. And it's just a really good combination. So definitely recommend that for you guys. But yeah, as you can see, there's a ton of different combos or good cards to use with Energy Conversion Lab. It's a very good base, especially in this deck. But also what makes this deck so good is that there are, again, a lot of cheap units. You have Greedo, Seasoned Shore Trooper, that also gets really strong when you have 6 or more resources. You get that kind of easily with the ramp in this deck and stuff like that. Also, Vader is really good, though not needed in the deck. The person who was playing the deck said that there was no need for Vader. Vader is kind of like a quality of life type of thing, right? If you have the Vaders and you want to throw it into this deck, it's really good because you can go ahead and play it and you can search for Boba Fett and put it out on the field, or a Super Laser Tech, a Seasoned Shore Trooper, and stuff like that. But it's not really needed for the deck to function. It's just one of those things that kind of if it gets to the point where you can play Vader, it's just a really good added bonus, right? And then you can see a lot of things in this deck revolve around exhausting your opponent's units. You have Cartel Spacer that falls into that category when you play it, and you have a cunning unit on the board to exhaust something with 4 or less resource that costs 4 or less, which is really good because you can kind of try to slow down those aggro decks using that. Fett's Fire Spray also has an ability for the cost of 2 and an action. You get to exhaust a non-unique unit. Again, just go ahead, slowing down your opponent. You have No Good to Me Dead, which allows you to exhaust something for an extra turn. And then you also have things like Waylay to bounce stuff into your hand. And then the big kicker is Overwhelming Barrage. It's just really strong in this deck because getting Boba Fett out on 5 and then using this at the point where if you're using ramp and stuff like that, it could really decimate your opponent. So overall Barrage in this deck, really, really strong. And obviously it's one of the best cards in the game. So that's overall the thing right there. And then again, the whole thing about this deck is to work off of the small units and your events and stuff like that, exhaust your opponent's units, taking them out, controlling the board until you get to like the mid game, late game, and then this game kind of takes off. And the deck is really, really good. Like obviously it's the best deck in the game right now, but there's just so many things that it does so well, and it's just really consistent. That's the big thing. The consistency of this deck is really where it shines. And so let's go ahead, now that we're done talking about the actual deck, again, I don't want to go over every single card. It's just I want to give a quick synopsis of the deck. And now let's go ahead and hop over to the sideboard. Ryan had Bounty Hunter's Crew in the sideboard. It has Ambush, which is pretty good, but also you get to return an event from your discard pile to your hand, which is really good. You can bring back Overwhelming Barrage. Even Surprise Strike is really strong in this deck because you get to attack with the unit, give it +3. So that's really good. Hey, Ray, thanks for the sub. I should probably start doing these with those off. I keep saying that, but I keep forgetting. But thanks for the sub, man. But again, with the ability to bring back those events like Overwhelming Barrage, No Good to Me Dead, Surprise Strike, getting you the control with No Good to Me Dead, or just really, really strong attacks on the base, or clearing your opponent's board with Overwhelming Barrage, it's just a really good card to have in your sideboard if you really need it. Reinforcement Walker, really good in terms of trying to make it so you can live a little bit longer, right? So when played, look at the top card of your deck, you can either draw it, card draw is always good, but if you don't need that card, you can discard it and heal 3 from your base, which could go into those long matchups and kind of help keep you alive longer. So that's pretty good, and it also happens on attack, so it's pretty solid. We have Relentless, again, good against control decks because they're focusing mainly on events and like control pieces, but if you play this onto the board, their first event played each phase or each round loses all abilities, so you can really hinder control decks in that way. So adding this in, it would be pretty good. And Emperor's Legion, being able to return each unit in your discard pile that was defeated this phase is pretty good, because then you can go ahead, use your units to kind of clear up your opponent's board, even if you're going to be losing your own units, and you can go ahead and bring them all back if you need to do so. So it's a good way to keep things more consistent, so you're not like running out of things to do. You can go ahead and attack, clear the board up. Even if you're losing your units, you play this, you bring those things back, and you can redo the same thing while your opponent is out of those units and out of those resources. So again, a really consistent deck. There's a reason why Boba Fett Green is probably the best deck in the format right now. But let's go ahead and bring it over to the matchup between the Boba Fett green deck and the Sabine green deck. I'm going to probably show you the second matchup, but this is a best of 3. It went 2 games, and I'm going to show you guys the second matchup in this video, because again, I don't want this video to be super long. I just want to show off the deck and what makes it so good. So I'll see you guys over in the video. All right, so now we're here with the matchup. You're going to see why Boba Fett has a really good matchup against Sabine, whether it be green Sabine, double aggression Sabine. Both of these decks were 3-0 at this moment, but you're going to kind of see where Boba Fett kind of hits above Sabine. So we see Wolf come out here. It's a good card. It prevents any healing when he attacks, and it has Saboteur, so it can get around Sentinels, which is pretty good. And the Boba Fett player goes right ahead and grabs the initiative. Now, could be questionable, but I think that grabbing the initiative here could be good for him, because he might have a play next turn that he wanted to go ahead and do first. Sabine's going to go ahead and use her ability, and what makes her so potent is the ability to deal damage to both bases for an action, no cost. So it keeps up with her speed, and what makes it really good. Yes, she does damage to her own base, but being able to come out at 4 resources and dealing extra damage to your opponent's base is also really good. So we see here both bases have a little bit of damage here, so they're kind of at the same playing field right now, but the Sabine player has Wolf on board, and so he has a little bit of the upper hand here in terms of momentum, because he can go ahead and swing with Wolf, get extra damage onto the base, and kind of use Sabine's to keep on rolling out that damage. So you see in the Boba Fett player's hand, it looks like he's going to go ahead and play Super Laser Tech, not using Ambush. Now, people might be questioning that, but again, Boba Fett has a lot of targets for Ambush and energy conversion lab, so it's not the end of the world there, right? So we're going to see the fleet lieutenant. He is going to go ahead and swing. He's not a rebel, so he is going to go ahead and just take the normal amount of damage from the card. So it's just a way to kind of keep up momentum though in this instance. So just again, remember that you can attack with another unit, but if it's not a rebel, it does not get the boost, right? The Boba Fett player goes ahead and takes the initiative, and then we see the extra damage going off with Sabine. So again, the speed of Sabine showing off really good here. Not using energy conversion lab on the super laser tech might have been questionable because he could have done some damage to the wolf, but he opted to save it, and we're going to see why soon enough. So again, we see the readying up here, and the Sabine player seems to have the upper hand here. He's going to go ahead, and now he's going to go ahead and trade with Wolf. And then he gets his ramp. And now his Boba Fett's live. It's active. Sabine also active, has 4 resources, but Boba Fett also being active is pretty good here. We are now going to go see the second Fleet Lieutenant attacking with the Fleet Lieutenant, and this time getting the bonus. So he's going to be dealing 5 damage to the opponent's base. Really good. Keeping up that speed. Double Fleet Lieutenant back-to-back turns. Always one of my favorite plays when playing Rebel Aggression. It's just really, really good. 5 damage on a base, especially if they're running a 25 HP base. Super strong and really good value there. But now you see he's going to go ahead and use his epic action on his base, and he's going to attack the one that attacked this turn. He will take it out. He will not be doing any damage to himself because his ability procs first. So because he attacked that turn, he was able to deal 3 damage before he dealt damage to the unit and didn't take any damage. And that's just what he's explaining here. So we have a fully healthy Boba Fett on board to also allow you to like use it in multiple turns, because it will take a little bit more than just one unit to take out that Boba Fett if you choose to do so, using Boba Fett's ability because he got rid of the Fleet Lieutenant to ready up a unit. A resource. Now we have Sabine coming out because the opponent controls 4 resources. And again, Sabine trying to keep on that pressure because yes, Boba Fett was able to get rid of 1 of the Fleet Lieutenants, but still the amount of damage that Sabine can output here is really good if he can keep up that momentum. So it's up to the Boba Fett player to try to control the board here and see if he can get rid of things faster than the opponent can go ahead and do that damage, right? You see Sabine going ahead and dealing damage, and then the extra damage because of her ability no longer has to go onto the Sabine's player side, just on the opponent's side. So again, keeping up that aggression, that momentum with the Sabine deck is what you're seeing here. We see for 2 here, we have the surprise strike. He does go ahead, he gets the extra 3, he's able to take out the Sabine, and so it can no longer attack the base. He will take the 2 damage, but Sabine is gone, and now the Boba Fett player is the one with more units. And this is kind of where you see a shift in momentum. That's kind of how it goes with Boba Fett against Sabine. Sabine can go ahead early, right away, deal a ton of damage to its opponents and kind of keep up the aggression that way. But once Boba Fett kind of settles in and kind of controls the board, that's where he starts to kind of take over the game here. You see, because the Boba Fett completed attack, the Fleet Lieutenant and the Sabine were both removed. It doesn't really matter. But now he has 3 resources to play with, while his opponent only has 1. And so all 3 of those resources were readied up by Boba Fett's ability. That's how strong Boba Fett is, being able to prolong his plays. He has now other options he can go ahead and do. The Sabine player is just trying to decide. He can't do that because obviously Sabine was taken out. So he's just going to go ahead and take the initiative there. And Crafty Smuggler comes in. He comes in shielded. It's just, again, he has the resources, might as well go ahead and put out an extra unit to try to start getting those hits on his opponent. So we're going to see the players ready up here. We have a Sabine player 4-2 playing out a Green Squadron A-Wing. Very good card. Has Raid 2. So, and again, there's not really much space presence for the Boba Fett player. But again, this is a card that makes the deck so potent. He's able to go ahead and take out all of the Sabine players' resources. Now, the Sabine player probably should have attacked with the Fleet Lieutenant first, You need to get that damage off as quickly as possible when going up against a Boba Fett deck. So don't allow your Boba Fett opponent to clear the board, which he did with Overwhelm Barrage. You see the Boba Fett going ahead now, swinging into the base, and you're starting to see the comeback, the momentum shift completely. The Boba Fett should have readied up 2 resources there. Oh, he did. That's my bad. But you see the Sabine going ahead and doing extra damage. But now the Boba Fett player has 3 resources to play with after doing all this damage to his opponent. And the opponent only has 1 unit on the board. And he just took a ton of damage. He takes the initiative. He can't do anything else. And you see Greedo coming on. I mean, again, look how many units the Boba Fett player has compared to his opponent. It's just an uphill battle for the Sabine player. But you see just how like quickly the game turned. Overwhelming Mirage is just a super strong card, especially in Boba Fett. Being able to use it with Boba Fett, clearing out, and then using the +2 with it to swing, getting those 2 resources, basically playing Overwhelming Barrage for 3. It's crazy. I know a lot of people don't like playing against Overwhelming Barrage, but when you use it, you feel good. When you play against it, you feel really bad. And so it's a complete switch in momentum, pretty much. But now Sabine player has to figure out something that he can do. Again, at this point, he probably should swing in with the A-Wing at least, just in case something is played and it gets removed. He needs to get this damage on the board. He already missed out on 3 with the Fleet Lieutenant. So he needs to get this damage on the board. And if you're playing against decks like Boba Fett and control decks, your focus should be trying to get damage as quickly as possible before he removes your units, right? So we see he's trying to determine whether or not to play out his Gorilla attack pod. So he does choose to go ahead and do so because there is enough damage on one of the bases. I believe Matt's base has over 15 damage on it. He comes out readied. So now Matt just kind of has to decide where he wants to go with his damage, because the main thing is that he can use the attack pod to take out one of his ground units at this point, if he chooses to do so, right? So he can probably live this oncoming attack if he uses the attack pod to take out one of his opponent's units. So we'll see how this one plays out here. The Boba Fett player decides to go ahead and swing in with Greedo onto base. It's smart. You do not want to attack the Gorilla attack pod because it does have grit. You see the A-Wing now swinging into base, getting off that 3 damage. Now the Boba Fett player decides to attack with Crafty Smuggler into the base, again, not allowing that Gorilla attack pod to get extra damage. You see the Sabine player has 19 damage on board. He's trying to get him to attack the Gorilla attack pod, I'm assuming. He goes ahead and he uses the Sabine ability. Dealing 1 more damage to your base at this point probably isn't the best play, because he can go ahead and the main thing is here is like he should have used the attack pod to swing in to possibly something, but I guess he didn't want the Boba Fett to be able to take it out because it had attacked. So it makes sense, but you see now he attacked because the Boba Fett attacked the base, and he's attacking into the base. He didn't have enough to take out that Boba Fett because it has too much HP, and then Boba Fett goes ahead and cleans up the game. It's hard for the Sabine player. The thing is that the game was really, really close. It's just he had to decide. He didn't want to attack with the attack pod because the Boba Fett was out there, the one that can go ahead and deal out damage, but he could have lost the attack pod, gained back the initiative after giving him the boost, because he would have been forced to attack with the Boba Fett. It could have went either way. It's just that's what ends up happening with the Boba Fett deck. Is really, really good at kind of clearing out the field. You also see the Overwhelm Barrage, I believe, from hand. So it's crazy. The Boba Fett deck is nuts. Now, again, if you like this deck, you want to play Boba Fett green, check down below. This is going to be Ryan's deck list, and I'm going to put the link that he sent me for the other website, but I also have the list for the other database website. It's just for some reason the link wasn't working, so hopefully it works, the one that he sent me. So that'll be down in the description below if you want to check out the deck and try it out yourself. Also, we're gonna go over and hop over to some giveaway news information. Now we're here for the giveaway. It's gonna be a little bit different this time. I'm not gonna be giving away a box, but we are gonna be doing a stream for the giveaway. We're gonna be doing a budget deck list giveaway. We're gonna build a budget deck list together on stream. I'm gonna be going ahead and adding in all the foils and hyperspace foils that I have to bling out the deck list as much as I can for you guys. I'll be giving away that deck list we make on stream, but then also we're going to be giving away the Admiral Akbar big card as well for you guys. I just want to thank you guys for all the support lately. Really greatly appreciated. I also want to go ahead and show off what the last person got in the giveaway, because it is absolutely insane. The box that I had given away for the last giveaway was nuts. So let's go ahead and bring that up onto screen, because I just want to showcase it to you guys, because I'm really happy for him. The person used the box for a sealed family like event thing, which was really awesome. So he got to enjoy the box with his family. But as you see on screen here, he got a showcase, first of all. So the box I gave away had a showcase in it. It was showcase Cassian, still really cool. You got a Boba Fett, a Luke, Command. So we got 3 legendaries and a showcase, and then all those hyperspace cards. And again, I want to just do my best to give back to you guys for all the support that you guys have given me. And this is just the beginning. We have the box giveaway at the start of probably every release for each set. I'll probably do a box giveaway for those, but then also these small kind of giveaways like we're going to be doing next with that blinged out budget deck list. That would be kind of cool. And then also this big Admiral Akbar card I want to give out to you guys. So again, thank you all for all the support and all the videos. Greatly appreciated from me to you guys. I love all you guys. Thank you so much. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop on out here, and we'll see you guys on the next video.